Welcome back to a new Moralis video, and in this video I have an update for you with some new functionality. It's a new parameter we have added in the response object to some of our API endpoints, and it will cut your loading time with more than 50%. So for this specific case, I'm gonna show you the old way and the new way of getting the NFTs and displaying them. So the old way is that we get an object back, and then we need to filter through the object to get the metadata, and then filter through that data to get the URL link for that specific NFT image, and then display that by fetching it from IPFS or similar websites. And the new way is that we've added a parameter that gives you low, medium, and high resolution very quickly. And you can see the difference by just clicking this button right here. You can see that it takes some time to load, and then if I scroll down, you can see it's not super fast. But then if I hit this get preview NFTs, you can see that everything is there. And if I scroll down, no lagging, no black screen or anything. We just have all the NFTs right there in just a few seconds. I'm so excited to share this with you. So stay tuned and I will show you how you can add this to your dapps. Hey, I'm Joseph, your Web3 instructor from Sweden. I've been into crypto since 2017 and have been building in the space since 2021. In my free time, I enjoy playing paddle, going to the gym, or hanging out with my dog. I always try to enjoy some good pancakes, but that's for another time. Now let's get back to the video. Alright, as always, let's have a root folder, the render wallet NFTs, and within that one we have a backend and a frontend folder. And we can see inside the package.json that we have installed node fetch, Moralis express.env and course that we're gonna need in our backend server, and then we also added this start script right here. Then we're gonna need to add a .env file with our Moralis API key. If you don't have an API key already, make sure you go to moralis.io and go to pricing so you can compare the different plans that we have. And we have the starter plan, which is for free and it's good for just getting started. But if you're serious about building within the Web3 space, I definitely recommend to go with the pro plan for only $49 a month. If you scroll down, you can see the difference, and it's quite big, to be honest. You have more compute units, and you also have unlimited daily units with the pro plan. And then you also don't have to refresh your API key. Never. But with the starter plan, you have to do that every 3 days. So it's a big advantage with going with the pro plan. And once you've set up this account, log into that specific one, go to Web3 APIs, and from here we can copy our API key and use it within our app. Once you've added it in the .env file, let's go to index.js to import all the installed dependencies. So we're gonna need to import fetch, express, .env, course, and Moralis. We're gonna have to set up our backend server. I'm gonna use port 5001 to do so. And then we can use process.env to get our API key from the .env file and store it in this variable, and then use this API key in this options object. We're gonna use this options object on this endpoint right here, and this server is gonna have two endpoints. It's gonna be the get preview to get the low, medium, and high resolution preview images, and then we're gonna use the slash get metadata to do it the old way, so to say, when we get the metadata for that specific NFT, and then we're gonna filter through to get the correct link. So let's start with the get preview one. We're gonna use this link, and I have hard-coded the wallet address, the same wallet address for both endpoints, but you could easily do this more dynamic. So you could make the user log in the front-end client, so to say, get their wallet address, and then send that back to the backend server so you can fetch their specific NFTs. But for this case, I have hard-coded the wallet address and then use the options object as a second parameter to get the data and then send the response back to the front-end client. So for the slash get metadata, we have again hard-coded the address and the chain ID. We get the data from the Moralis API, and then we send that straight back to the front-end client. And as you can see, for this endpoint, I'm not using the options object, so that's why we're using the moralis.start function and passing along our API key when we initialize our backend server. That's it for the backend server. Let's close this one and go to the front-end client, which is a Next.js application. And I have also installed Web3 UIKit Core to display things more beautifully. It's a simple front-end application. The index.js page only renders two components. So the header is the first one, which contains the title and the image. and main and card is where everything is happening. So card is getting rendered within the main component. So let's start with main. Scroll to the top right here, we can see that we're using useState, Axios, the card component provided by Web3 UI Kit Core, and then some CSS, of course. We have these state variables right here. We have an empty array, and we have two booleans set to false. So one is for the preview results, and one is for show metadata result. So we can go down here, and we can see that we have two buttons, okay? We have one for get preview NFTs and one for get metadata NFTs. And let's start with the preview NFTs. So when you hit this button, we're gonna run the get preview NFTs function, which is right here. And what we do here is that we're using Axios to do a request to our backend server on the /get preview endpoint. And once we get the response back, we're gonna store that in the result variable right here, the empty array to begin with. And then we're also gonna set show metadata result to false and set show preview result to true. And once this is true, this value right here, once that is true, we're going to render the NFT. So we're gonna map through the results array, and we're gonna check if we have a media collection, and if we do, we're gonna display the results right here using the card component provided by the Web3 UI kit. We're gonna use the low URL resolution and display that within an image tag. And that's all we need to display the NFT preview image using the preview parameter that we just added to the Moralis API to some of the endpoints. But if you want to do it the other way, it's gonna take a little bit more than that. So we run this get metadata NFTs function when you click this button. And again, we're doing a backend request to the /get metadata this time, and we're getting back the results the same way. We're storing it in the results array, and we're setting the preview result to false, but metadata result to true. And once this value right here is true, then we're rendering this thing right here. And again, we map through the array the same way we did as above, but this time we're gonna have to render another component, which is this card component right here. And we're gonna pass along the NFTs as props. And once we get to the card component, we're gonna have to get the metadata and store that within the NFT. And then we're gonna have another state variable that we check if this NFT has an image item within it. And if it does, we're gonna check if that image item includes IPFS. And if it does, we're gonna have to do this right here. And if it doesn't, then we're gonna have to do this instead. And then depending on what we have, we're gonna display the name and the NFT image like so. So as you can see, it takes more files, it takes more lines of code to make this happen without the newly added functionality. And at the same time, it takes more time to load for the users, which is always a pain point you want to solve. So let's go back to the application. We can see if I refresh right here, you can still see the differences. So get metadata, it takes some time. And if I scroll down, the screen turns black until it loads. And so this is not a good UI experience. But if I use the get preview, in just a few milliseconds, actually, we get all the NFTs right here. And look how beautiful we can display them. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you also smash the like button, and I will see you in the next video.